Foreign Minister Zarif, first of all, thank you for giving us this opportunity to have this conversation.
Very happy to be with you.
You are in the final stage of nuclear negotiations with P5+1. Where do things stand at this point? What is the mood of negotiations? And are you optimistic a deal can be reached by the November 24th deadline?
Well, negotiations on this issue are tough because people need to address not only the issues but their domestic constituencies, and that makes it a bit difficult because there are some within domestic constituencies who are not happy with any deal. So it's impossible to appease them or to please them. Well, it may include Iran, but we're not negotiating for them because we've known from the beginning that some of our political elite, a small minority, but nevertheless a group, do not want a deal because they are so mistrustful of the West that they do not believe any deal with the West would be reliable. So we have said whatever we do, they won't be happy. But unfortunately, in the United States, those constituencies are very powerful, can impact decisions, particularly in an election year in Congress. And that is why I think too much attention is being paid to appeasing those constituencies. But at the end of the day, the reason for my cautious optimism is that everybody knows that the alternative is far worse than having a deal that will have, under any circumstances, a good number of opponents in all capitals, here in the United States, in Iran, elsewhere in Europe, but probably more in Washington and in Tehran. So I think what is important for everybody to understand is that we can reach a deal that addresses the most important concern, and that is to make sure that Iran's nuclear program will remain peaceful, and at the same time all these sanctions that have been hurting the Iranian people, not the nuclear program, could be lifted.
What is Iran prepared to do in exchange for lifting of those sanctions?
Well, we're prepared to provide the necessary assurances that our program will remain peaceful. Among those assurances, there are some time-bound limitations that we are willing to voluntarily accept on, for instance, the number of places where we will do enrichment, or the amount of enrichment we do, or the level of enrichment, whether we enrich below 5%, over 5%, how we enrich, what will happen to what we enrich, that is, whether we keep it in a gas form or whether we oxidize it into powder form that cannot be re-enriched. We are prepared actually to put in place very serious, scientifically proven guarantees that whatever we do will not be usable for weapons, because we want, this is not a concession, let me say, this is an attempt to remove any even perception that Iran has a weapons program, because we do not find that perception to serve our national interest. We believe Iran's national interest is best served by a non-proliferation policy, because this is our security environment that dictates to us what type of security doctrine we should follow. And within that security environment, both in the immediate security environment, that is the Persian Gulf, or in the wider security environment that is the wider region and the global arena, we feel that even the perception that Iran is pursuing a nuclear weapons option detracts from our security rather than enhances our security.